So our cabinets came in this morning and it's the wrong cabinets. It's the wrong color. He fell off of a ladder from 20 feet up. Hey friends, thank you so much for joining me. If you're new here, normally I post all about homeschool content and curriculum reviews and a day in the life, but I thought this would be fun to change it up a little bit and kind of do a vlog over the past several months of what the kitchen renovation has looked like. And then we've had some unexpected things come up in the midst of that kitchen renovation, namely like my husband got hurt at work. So anyway, I'm gonna just share all of that today. I hope this vlog even makes sense because I have done like a day in the life and even a week in the life, but I've never just like pieced clips here and there. So hopefully it's not like too boring. A lot of it is not really like, I can't show the workers, working. I'm not going to be like to my contractor, excuse me, can you move so I can set up my camera so I can record you for my YouTube video? I wasn't going to do that. So hopefully I won't skip too many parts and it won't be too redundant. But anyway, I just want to do a quick recap. So I shared back in the summer that we had a kitchen fire and everybody was okay. Thankfully, insurance agreed to like kind of renovate our kitchen, which we were so grateful for, felt so appreciative of. The kitchen project renovation itself didn't take very long. That only took like 4 weeks. It was all the background, like getting up to it, finding a contractor, and then we had to get a new contractor, and then going through all the steps of everything. So there was just a lot of hoops to jump through beforehand, but then once the actual project went, it actually for the most part went smoothly. There was a few things here, actually there were some big things that happened, so you'll just see. I'm just going to share what it was like to go through the process of a kitchen renovation while homeschooling and pregnant and living here as well. So it was interesting, I'll say that.
I like this one better just because it's a little bit thicker and to me it looks like better quality, but I don't love this stain. I kind of want to go with like a neutral, like gray, beige type, like a grayish right in the middle. We're gonna do dark cabinets here and then do them like that too. Don't mind my dishes in the sink. But I think this kitchen is like really dark as it is. That's the only window and it's already closed off. So I'm thinking like lighter cabinets, but not necessarily pure white. So we're gonna go to the cabinet factory today and then check out what they have there. I'm thinking something like this. This I think is a little too gray. That's too white. So something along these lines, maybe like this. I don't know, these three is kind of the area I'm looking at.
So what's gonna happen is we are going to, since that's there, the cabinet lady was like, I've never loved this. I always thought that looked awkward, but it is what it is. She suggested adding another, like moving this door over and adding like a 15-inch cabinet. So that's what we're gonna do. The contractor had to come over and make sure this was not a load-bearing wall, which it is not, thankfully. So we're gonna move this door over and then get a cabinet there so it'll make it look a little bit more complete. Otherwise, the layout and everything is staying the same. We are gonna get a trash bin right there, which I am most excited about because the trash over here situation has always bugged me. It's hideous and ugly, and no matter how many times I wipe down those trash cans, they're always dirty looking, and so I cannot wait. That was my one and only stipulation, is I wanted to get the trash drawer. The ceiling is going to be re-drywalled. They're taking this out and then adding some recessed. We're gonna add that ourselves, add the recessed lights and then change that out with probably like 2 smaller lights, and then paint these awful walls. When we moved in, they decided to paint all the walls in flat white paint, and so I have retouched
I've repainted every single room in this house except the kitchen because I was kind of waiting for that. And so we're gonna get the kitchen repainted because flat paint shows every single ounce and morsel of dirt there ever was. So, and then this lovely peach colored door is getting painted as well. We're not changing the layout. We're not knocking down walls or anything fancy. It's gonna be like the same, but for me, it's fun because it's still an upgrade.
Many months later.
All right, I'm obviously in my kitchen. I was out with the girls last night around 5 o'clock. I got a text, we got a text from our contractor. This is Monday. He's like, I can start Wednesday. So today's Tuesday. That gives us today to clear our entire contents of our kitchen out and into our family room / school room. So we're gonna get started on that. And then once that's clear, I'll kind of do a before and then kind of progression throughout. And then of course the after, that's the best part. Everything is all cleared out, ready to go. So next time we see the kitchen intact like this, it'll be nice and updated. You excited, Lily?
Oh, what about these pictures?
Okay, get the picture. Okay, we're back. It is end of day 1, and I would say they got quite a bit accomplished. They left the stove, the dishwasher, sink, and then they moved the microwave over here, but this is the only wall they're gonna leave. Everything else, including the ceiling, is taken down to these studs. They weren't going to be able to move this wall over without messing up this weird paneling, and then the bottom is beadboard. So we decided to take it down and just paint fresh. We were hoping and crossing our fingers again that we would not have to replace the drywall, but just be able to patch it. It's been about a week, and so we're making pretty good progress. They're doing really well. All the drywall except this one was replaced, as well as the ceiling. We got some lights. Dogs are in here. Got some lights as well, and then hi baby. Okay. And then we moved this over a little bit so that we can have a cabinet. So the doorway is moved over and we widened it as well. And it looks so nice from the other side. You can't really tell a difference, but living here you can. So here we are on this side. Sorry if you can hear the fan in the back. I'm gonna turn that off for a second. So this used to end here, and that was our doorway here. And now it's just moved over a little bit. And then they took all of the paneling off and patched. Thankfully they were able to save the drywall, which we were nervous about. We did not want to have to replace a full room full of drywall, so that was really good. So they're just gonna, they had to do a few coats of sanding, and then we'll paint this room and it'll be pretty much ready to go. All of our food and utensils and everything from the kitchen is in here. Little station for, what's it called? Thank you, Laura, is a lovely assistant. Coffee and toaster and all that fun stuff. Help?
Are we gonna get lunch with them? What is that?
Yes.
What does that say?
Milwaukee.
What?
Milwaukee.
Why don't you just tell Dad the baby name right now and
a brand.
talk about it
The
later?
tool brand that just took over the industry in the past couple of years. They just, for it, for them to go into a different brand,
Yeah.
just costs them money.
Gosh, looks like I have a wood chair. So our cabinets came in this morning. They have unloaded all of the cabinets into our family room. It's taking up our entire family room. And I looked on the box, and the name is on the box, the name of like the color, and it's the wrong cabinets. It's the wrong color. cabinets. Like, there was two colors and they gave us the wrong one. So I'm just like, of course. It's like the one thing I wanted. The one thing I cared about was the cabinets, like the color of the cabinets. I was most excited about that, and that's wrong. So our options are, we've been back and forth with like what to do with the cabinet people and all this. The options are wait another 5 to 7 weeks, like with our kitchen all in disrepair, like completely gutted and everything all crazy, like you just saw. 5 to 7 weeks of that to get the new ones, or get a little bit of a discount on the ones and just keep them. So I kind of had to make the decision like on the spot. I mean, I called my mom, I called my husband. My husband's like, whatever you want to do, babe. It's, you know, you really were the one who loved the cabinets, whatever you want to do. So I was just like, oh my gosh, I have to make this decision on the spot. And then so I just was like, we'll just keep them. Or I guess my rationale was like, if we were going to be in this house forever, like, yes, this is our dream home, this is our forever home, I'll wait a few more weeks to get what I really wanted. But we never intended to live here forever. And so we kind of always knew that we would just put equity into this house. And then in a few years, be able to do something else and get something that was like kind of more what we wanted. So that kind of made me, when I realized that, I was like, you know what, let's just go with it. So we just stuck with the cabinets because I'm like, I don't want to live like this for another 5 to 6 weeks on top of what we've already been and how many more weeks it's going to be. So we just went with it. But I'm disappointed. I'm like really disappointed. And also, I mean, yes, in the grand scheme of things, like, is it really a big deal? The color of a cabinet? It's really not. Like, it's a materialistic thing that, but on the other hand, you know how it is when you're like, your heart was set on that and you were just like, that was the one thing I wanted. Like, it'll still look nice no matter what. Like, of course it will still look nice. It's not going to look like terrible, but it's just not what I wanted.
I just filmed that whole thing, and I had the cabinet place. Their sticker was on here. So anyway, I had to cross that off. Here are the two samples, and so here's the difference. Like I mentioned earlier, I wanted like a warm, beigey, grayish, like warm colored kitchen, warm cabinets, warm backsplash, and things like that to go along with it. This is what we ended up getting. And you might be rolling your eyes and saying, oh my goodness, what is the big deal? They look pretty much the same, and I get it. It's not like we got a cabinets like this color or, like dark black or something like that. Like, it's still light, but they are in two different families. It's not like we got a lighter version of this or a darker version of this. This was going to be a warm kitchen, and now it's cool. So I feel like it's kind of like the paint chips, the paint samples. When you see them close to each other, like small like this, you can't really tell. But when you see it painted on a huge wall, there's a huge difference. It's kind of the same. Like, you can't really tell here, but side by side comparing kitchens, a whole cabinet's worth of kitchens, you can definitely tell the difference. So this is what we're going to go with. So we already had the backsplash, the handles, and the counter picked out to match this, like a warm beigey color. And now we got to figure out what's going to go with gray. We're going to switch our backsplash and handles, but our counter we're already sticking with. So I'm just crossing my fingers that it actually matches and that it'll look okay with this, because we're sticking with it. So we're going to cross our fingers. Hopefully it's still a match and still looks good, but everything else has got to change now.
Okay, so I am really tired. It's been a long 2 days. I'll catch you up real quick. Yesterday I got a phone call from my husband at work, which is, he can text. Usually when he calls me at work, I'm like, oh no. So he calls me. He is at urgent care. He fell off of a ladder from 20 feet up. He was on the ladder and he was cutting a wire and I guess it like sprung back or something, and the ladder just and like catapulted him off. Thankfully he could get up, he can walk around, which probably shouldn't do because it's back, but he physically can, so thankfully that's okay. So I spent all of yesterday, pretty much all of yesterday, at the ER with him. Thankfully my mom took the girls last night and she has them today. She dropped off Lexi at school and is doing school with Larissa, but I told the contractors what, like, because I told them what was happening, and they're like, we can put it off. Miguel's like, don't worry about it, just go, just continue to go, you know, continue with the process. Like, he didn't want to drag it out. So I'm like, okay, are you sure? So he said yes. So I spent all day yesterday at ER. They didn't know if he was going to have surgery or not. He has an L1 compression fracture. And so this morning, I was there I had to go back and forth. It's like 30 minutes away. I had to go back and forth like twice. So this morning they came in first thing in the morning, and said that he, at this point, he doesn't need surgery. He'll come back in about a month, and he's just going to rest and recuperate at home. And then in about a month, he'll have to go back, and then they'll do another x-ray and see what has to happen there, either surgery or just PT or something like that. So we're just praying. It's stressful. I mean, I feel awful. I'm so thankful. Like, it could have been much, much, much worse. I like don't even want to think about it, how much worse it could have been. But he's in a lot of pain, like a lot of pain, of course, as you can imagine how it would go. So I'm going this morning. I was just with the contractor. That's why most of these videos are in my car, because they're there all the time and there's noise and everything. So I don't want to be like in the middle of them doing their thing. So I spoke with them this morning. We have to get everything finalized, like handles, flooring. We have to make sure like that's what we want to stick with. Lighting and everything like that has to be all finalized, because he needs to do it like in the next day or two. So I've been kind of running around doing that. I'm going to go with him. Miguel's getting discharged this afternoon, so I'm going to go spend time with him, and then, you know, obviously take him home, and we're not doing anything the rest of the night. I'm just going to take care of him. And then tomorrow morning is going to be another busy day, but yeah, we're just grateful, thanking God. Like, it could have been worse, but still praying like for healing and no long-term effects. So that is what's going on. This has happened before. We've had where I was homeschooling. It was our first year of homeschool, and he had an injury that was actually much, much worse. It was his ankle, but it was actually worse. He was out of work. He had 2 surgeries and lots of physical therapy, and ended up being out of work for 1.5 years. So this is not our first rodeo with an injury. We'll see what happens. But anyway, if you could just pray for us, pray for him, for healing. So I'm going to get ready to go right now. That's where I'm heading now. I just drove about 20 minutes to a Lowe's that supposedly had the tile that I was looking for. And I went there. They don't have it. It's discontinued. They weren't sure why it even says that. Just like, of course. And then while I'm there, I'm like, why didn't I call? Why wasn't I smart about this? Why did I waste all this time driving here when I could have just easily made a phone call and they would have told me that over the phone? Anyway, oh well. So yeah, it was like 1.5 hours in the morning. The contractor's waiting for me. So I guess we're just gonna go with the peel and stick. Hopefully it looks good. Hopefully it doesn't look like, you know, like the laminate flooring of the 90s, kind of like what we have now. It just looks kind of cheap, like you just threw it there. Hopefully it doesn't look like that, but we'll see how it's gonna turn out. Some of the other vinyl tile that they had was like almost at the same price as a real hardwood floors, and I was like, I'm not paying that for a vinyl tile. So we're just gonna stick with this. We already have it. We kind of need to get going with this, and we're gonna see. Hopefully it turns out well. This is what we have currently, and so this is what I think I'm gonna replace it with. The same type, just like a whitish, but it still has kind of like that texture and gloss to it, so it gives a little dimension. I think that'll look nice. finishing touches today. They did the handles and I love them. You can't really see the color. They're like a bronzed brass and backsplash. So that's it, just finishing up with that. And then they're gonna install the light right here today. And we still have to get a little more painting done. But as far as the work, it's almost coming together. It's coming together, it's almost done. So all that's really left is just getting this room back in order. There was we finally got it finished painting. They finished the paint. So me and Lola have been going through the edges and scraping off any little paint splatters. So I have to get that done, kind of put this off to the side and get this semi back in order, because this is driving me crazy how it's been like this for so long. I'm ready for it to be back. We got this much done in about an hour, not bad. It's definitely not finished, obviously. And we have a cabinet that goes over there, not a trash can. That we have to pull in, and I've got to clean all this. I've mopped twice, but I have to mop again just because there was so much dust. Obviously, all the tools and paint and stuff has to go. And then we have to put the curtains up and all the wall hangings and all that stuff. But it feels nice to just have this area back a little bit. Okay, so here is the finished product. I probably should have done this at a different time of the day with different lighting when there was more sunlight, but I've been trying to film this for a few weeks and literally the past 3 days specifically, and it just has not happened. So I feel like you can get an idea. So we'll go over here. We have our pantry. This is one of my favorite things. We have all of everything all nice and organized and fits in there. And then so these handles, of course, since we have the gray, pretty much everything changed. So I was gonna get a copper colored, a copper dark brownish. I know it sounds ugly, but it was gonna be really beautiful with what we had. So I had to switch out handles, but I still think these turned out really pretty. I know you're supposed to do knobs on the top and handles on the bottom, but I was let's be a little different. I was gonna do knobs here, just on these, and handles everywhere else. And my husband's that might look weird. So we put the knobs there, but I don't really like the knobs at all. I like them, but I don't like them in here. So we're gonna, I have to order more handles, and we're just gonna do handles across the board. And then, so we have handles everywhere else. So we just have to replace those few little knobs here. And then my counter, I really, really, really love the counter. Hopefully you can get a good picture of that. This is the counter we were gonna go with originally. And then we did have to, like I mentioned before, change the backsplash. We had a nice, pretty off-white, but this was pure white. So it's still the same style, it's still the same. I'm trying to get a good, here we go. There's some lights over here, above here. It's still the same, it's kind of textured. Hopefully you can see that. And then we got a light gray. I didn't want to do just pure white with the grout because it's a kitchen. I know it's going to get dirty and show dirt. And so I wanted something a little bit, but not too much of a contrast. So I think that this was just enough of a contrast. And then the floor, this is just a peel and stick floor. I don't know how well it will hold up, honestly, but I think it turned out really nice. We decided not to grout it, just to put it in lengthwise. And then this wall back here, we got a new, this doesn't provide much light, but I just like the chandelier. None of the colors are coming in really good. That's a lot more gold. It's a lot prettier in person. And then this back wall, I'm gonna just put, I have to have something because it's just so stark and so white and so blank, a big blank canvas. So I'm gonna get some pretty pictures here, but I'm just gonna take my time with that. Just something to kind of hopefully warm it up. It feels really, really cool in here, and it is really bright. I'm not sure how much that's showing through, but it is. And so I think our table kind of helps warm it up a little bit. And then I tried to get the gold accents, which would warm it up. And then I have to get a an anti-fatigue mat, a pretty one though, that looks like a runner here. And so hopefully between that and then maybe adding a plant and some wall, it'll make it feel a little bit more homey and cozy and not so bright. We're still getting our family room back in order. That's the literally last room that has to be done. Okay, we have my pride and joy here. This is my pride and joy. Like, I love my kids, but no, I'm just joking. But I really do love it. I'm not gonna open it because it's trash, but this is a trash and a recycle. So no more ugly, nasty trash containers here. Just, so ugly. So this is, I love this. I'm so happy every day. I've never been so happy to like throw trash away. I know it sounds silly, but it's the little things like that. And then we have our little stove. My husband wanted to get the, what's it called? To slide in with the, I didn't really care about that, but he was excited to have that. But this is an LG, and we've had LG before, but I love the inside. It's like really pretty blue, so I'm determined to like keep this nice and clean. I'm trying to like, after every time I use it, like wipe it down to make sure it stays nice and pretty. And then probably the biggest change, well, yeah, like as far as construction. So before, you know, I showed before, it was just like our stove ended there and that was it. So this got moved over, and then we have like a 15-inch cabinet. And so I feel like it just makes it feel a little bit more, I don't know, complete, and it doesn't look so awkward. It looks like a kitchen should end, you know, like just a little cabinet. The contractor and other people were asking like, why don't you knock down one of these walls? Two things. One, we don't have money. That was going to cost thousands, and we were not prepared to do a major renovation. This came in unexpectedly. This is something we would have never done on our own. So we're just really thankful that we were able to get this done. Like, we're so grateful, truly. And so we would have never been able to do this on our own. So yeah, spending thousands of dollars to like blow out walls was just not going to happen. A. B, we use these walls, so I'll just show you here. So around here, this is where we do our homeschool, and we use this wall. I mean, I guess we could have taken it out, but I like the idea of a eating kitchen and then a separate dining room. We had this as our main for construction, our main, like where we did school and where we ate all of our meals and it just was always a mess. So I like that there's two separate areas. So there's that. And then back here, this wall, we use this wall. This is where we have our main like living area. And so we have thought about that, but there is just no way. This room is a little rectangular and awkward, and there's just no way to like, we've had the TV against here and it just never worked. It just was awkward and didn't look right. Unfortunately, we have to have this ugly blanket over our couch because the cat keeps ruining it, and it doesn't matter. Anyway, so that's why we didn't do that. We just kept it as is. And then they were like, well, what about an island? And I just feel like islands I love islands. They're beautiful. I just think it would just be awkward to have a random island there, not open to anything else, like no part of the kitchen or open to the family room or anything like that. So that's why we did not go with an island. So overall, even though it did not, we had to change pretty much the main things, like the cabinets were a different color, our backsplash, our handles, everything. I still think it turned out really pretty. I still love it. Thankfully, it's like a kind of a softish gray. I still have to get a Roman shade here. But other than that, I think it's good to go. And so that is it. We just have a few little touches, but pretty much kitchen is ready to go. I think it's turned out lovely, beautiful. I love it. It makes it easier to keep clean for some reason. I don't know why. It's psychological, but I'm like, oh, I have to keep it more clean. Thanks so much for watching along, and for all the prayers for my husband. He's still healing and recovering. We still don't know if he's going to need surgery. He goes back to the doctor tomorrow, so I'll update you guys all with that in another video at another time. But for now, any prayers we really appreciate. I appreciate you all, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.